Okay, today we're talking about adding and subtracting real numbers. This is kind of a throwback to some stuff you probably already know, but a good time to remind ourselves and to make sure that we're all doing it the same way. Now I know that your calculator can do a lot of this stuff, however, quite frankly, your brain is better than your calculator. So let's learn how to use our brains. First, a well is drilled 1.7 miles, then it was drilled 1.2 miles deeper. What signed number could express the depth of the well? Now, when we're dealing with this problem, we want to use negative numbers because we're going downward. Down is always negative. 1.7, negative 1.7, negative 1.7. Now, if we wanted to, we could use a number line. We could say, okay, we started here, and then we got like back a little bit, and then we went back further, which was like something or other like that. I actually went too far. It should be more like here. But number lines are kind of silly, but they do kind of show you, at least show you what's going on. Now, since they're both negative, we know we have a certain method for this. We have a certain method for these negative signs. If they have the exact same sign in front of them, you just add them together. So negative 2/3, negative 4/5, we ignore that because they both have that negative in front of them. So instead we just say 2 plus 4 is 6, 3 plus 5 is 8, and of course we want that decimal. Of course we want to pull down that same sign, negative 6 8/10. Because they have like signs, the answer should have the same sign. Now, adding numbers with unlike or different signs. Now here right away we have a rather complex problem, simply because we're dealing with mixed numbers and with fractions with different denominators. So for that reason, we have to get common denominators. Now how do we do that? Well, we want to find the least common denominator. Therefore, we would do, if we were unsure, we would do 8 and 3, and then do 2 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 1, and 2 out here too, and then 1. Okay, so our least common multiple here has 3 2's and 1 3. In other words, 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 again, times 3, which is 24. So we want to do that. We want to have 8 needs to be multiplied by 3, so 7 needs to be multiplied by 3, so therefore that's 21 24ths plus negative 3 2/3. 2/3 both needs to be multiplied by 8, so it's going to be 16 24ths. Now we have unlike signs, therefore we're going, or rather different signs, so we're going to find the difference. For a short moment, we're going to forget which one's bigger and which one's smaller because of that negative sign, and we're just going to look at the numbers. What we're going to end up doing is 3 and 16 24ths minus 1 and 21 24ths. In order to solve this, we are going to borrow from the 3, break it into 24 pieces, and add it to this 16. This 16 will become 40. That's because 16 minus 21 does not work, so we need to buff up that numerator. 40 minus 21 is going to be 19 24ths. 1 and 19 24ths is not quite our answer. It is the difference between these two, but we need to ask ourselves something back at the beginning of the problem. Which number was bigger? Was the negative number bigger or the positive number? It is clear that the negative number is bigger, so therefore our answer needs to be negative. Whichever sign has the bigger number next to it, that sign is tagged on at the end. If it was switched, if this was negative 1 and 7/8, well, then the answer would have ended up being positive. Now, if we look at the next problem here, we are subtracting numbers with like signs. But we want to change this. We don't like minus and negative, so therefore we are going to change this into adding a positive. So these two negatives are going to end up coming together to become very good friends and become more positive. At this point, we can see that we have a negative number and a positive number. Therefore, we have different signed numbers, and because of this, we're going to be looking for the difference. Now, just to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to write it right here. Negative 20.2 plus 7.33, or 7 33/100ths. Which one's bigger? Well, 20.2. So we're going to go back to the basics once again. Align the decimal point. Make sure you align the decimal point here. 20.2, 7.33 minus, we're going to end up doing some borrowing. This turns into 19, this turns into 11, this turns into 10, 7, 8, 12, 12.87. And because of that, we are going to end up with, well, is it positive or negative? Look back at the original problem. Well, or rather, this problem, it's a little clearer. Obviously, the negative number is bigger. Therefore, our answer is going to be negative. Add the opposite of the subtrahend. Yeah, that's essentially what we have done. So instead of subtracting negative 7.33, we add the opposite. If that doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. Subtracting with unlike signs. Okay, subtracting with unlike signs is really, really, really nice sometimes. In this situation, it's really nice because, well, you change nothing here, 2 and 5/6. You're going to subtract a negative. Instead of subtracting a negative, of course, we're going to add a positive 4. And you know, just to make things a little bit easier, I already know I'm going to be having to find common denominators here. The common denominator is, of course, 6. Therefore, when we add these guys together, we're going to get 6 and 7/6. And of course, we want to make this improper fraction into a proper fraction so we can take him to dinner parties and not be embarrassed by him. 7 1/6. Just look back here. Oh yeah, we are just adding. We're not doing anything with different signs. Therefore, we don't worry about any of that stuff. And they're both positive, so our answer is positive. Today's homework are going to be, well, actually, you don't need to try these. You just need to do workbook 1 through 3, 2 through 28 evens, 30 through 31. Good luck.